Walk with me.
I will sing of the mercies of the I Am forever. With my mouth will I make known thy faithfulness to all generations. For I have said, mercy shall be built up forever. Thy faithfulness shalt thou establish in thy very heavens. And I have made a covenant with my chosen. I have sworn unto David my servant. Thy seed will I establish forever, and build up thy throne to all generations, Selah. And the heavens shall praise thy wonders. O I Am, thy faithfulness is also in the congregation of the saints. For who in the heavens can be compared unto the I Am? Who among the sons of the mighty can be likened unto our God? God is greatly to be feared in the assemblies of the saints, and to be had in reverence of all them that are about him. O Yahuwah, God of hosts, who is a strong Lord, or a strong God like unto thee, or to thy faithfulness round about thee? Thou rulest the raging of the sea when the waves thereof arise, and thou stillest them. Thou hast broken Rahab in pieces as one that is slain. Thou hast scattered thine enemies with thy strong arm. The heavens are thine, and the earth also is thine. As for the world, the fullness thereof, for thou hast founded them. The north and the south, thou hast created them. Tabor, Hermon, and shall rejoice in thy name. Thou hast a mighty arm, strong is thy hand. Thy high is thy right hand. Justice and judgment are in the habitation of thy throne. Mercy and truth shall go before thy face. Blessed is the people that know the joyful sound, that they shall walk, O Tata and Zambi, in the light of thy countenance. And in the name shall they rejoice in all the day, and in thy righteousness shall they be exalted. For thou art the glory of their strength, and thy favor our horn shall be exalted. For Yahuwah is our defense, and the Holy One of Israel is our king. Then thou speakest in the vision to thy Holy One, and saidest, I have laid help upon one that is mighty. I have exalted one chosen out of the people. I have found David my servant. With my holy oil have I anointed him, with whom my hand shall be established. My arm shall also strengthen him. Yes. Psalms chapter 89. Deliver me from the hands of evil spirits who have sway over the thoughts of men's hearts, and let them not lead me astray from thee, my God. Establish thou me and my seed forever, that we go not astray henceforth and forevermore. Jubilees chapter 12 and verse 20, a prayer of Abram. Yes. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, those of you on this platform and those shared platforms. Yes. And with a hand clap of praise, we thank God for you, and we thank God for those of you who have been with us since the beginning, and those of you who have came therein and there's about, and we thank God for those of you who have just subscribed or followed. We give God the glory and the praise for you, and also we thank God for those of you that are about to subscribe or follow, calling those things that are not as though they are. Yes, all praises to the Most High. Yes, we give God the glory. And one thing about it, my heart goes out to a woman. She lost her son because he was fired on by law enforcement in the country of Kenya, Nairobi, in their protest toward the government's taxation, which really, it was far-fetched from what I can gather. I mean, to borrow money and raise taxes just to show that you can pay the loan back, and not really think about how can I cause my people and the poor to cope with our present situation as we have it today. Yes, sometimes there are other ways to go about it. Some people have, some lands have to understand. You don't have to sell your land. That land doesn't belong to the government, it belongs to the people. The governing body is just a body of people. You cannot give, if the people doesn't agree on giving land away that you say belongs to the government, it doesn't belong to you alone. It belongs to hundreds of millions, and I mean, it has to be a vote. You just give the government, you give the land away. The people didn't give you such authority to even do so. I don't care what country you come from, unless you're a king or a dictator. You walked out of bounds, man. Excuse me. You've walked out of bounds. And such it should be done to a leader that does such things. Walking out of bounds. That is a crying shame that you give away something that is not yours. It belongs to the collective and not to the individual. You're not the king. And neither is your parliament, not the king. The West laugh at you like you're a big fool. But regardless, we thank God for his mercy. But my heart goes out to that woman. She lost a son, as many others have. Congo, Sudan, Somalia. Different places where the government has, or wars between governments have demised many people. Even here in the United States, mothers have lost their children because of somebody's hatred and because they knew they can get away with it, or they bet they had a high chance they could get away with murder because they wore a uniform. And the same thing with those there. There was no reason for even that sniper to even shoot what he shot at the people when there was no projectiles of that type shot at them. The people had no weapons, only sticks and stones. But yet you take it upon yourself to order this person to fire a lethal round to harm and demise a few people. That hurts. That mother stood in front of the parliament as they walked out, and one guy put water over his head, and she just sung her song of grief. Grieving. I mean, you can hear the grief of this mother. It can, if you really listen to her, it will just pierce your soul. And she represents a lot of mothers all over the globe that have lost their babies and their children. This is what causes babies. When babies are put down, or young men or young women, it's the same thing. They're babies. They're somebody's baby, somebody's brother, somebody's sister. If they have not posed a threat towards you in any lethal way, there's another way to subdue them or to cause them to be subjected to you. Yes, lethal force has been very much obscured. Lethal force. Because of anger and because I have this tooth, or I have this power tool, I could do what I want. I am strong. Even though you're a weak, beggarly, weak, sorry human that really probably shouldn't even be walking the earth. But that's only me. That's not God. But the fact is that somebody is bereaved. That's the whole thing. And also that those people that were just sitting there, just minding their own business, regardless of the circumstances, regardless of what their ancestors did or whatever, just sitting there trying to enjoy their beach. And all of a sudden, here comes a projectile that explodes and nothing. All because of a certain commodity that someone wants, and they mask it over and over and over and over again to try to make the people think that this commodity is not what they're after. Not only in that place, but other places. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. Period. But I digress. Let me go on. I could keep on and on and on and talk about these things. But either way, we're in the book of Jasher, chapter 71. Yes, chapter 71 and verse 5. Yes, we went a little over on the other day. And we find out that Moses, he had demised an Egyptian who had actually laid or forced himself upon another man's wife in front of him because he could. We know the stories, how that goes in the United States during slavery, and also not only in the United States, but the Arab countries, and also in those countries on the continent, in Europe, where these soldiers would take, because there was no law against them. And they would lay with a man's daughter and his wife and those things because they had the guns. But the man, he fought back, and he told Moses what happened, and Moses was infuriated itself that he demised that Egyptian. See, there was a story behind it that the 66 books did not tell you. Greeks. Give a hand to Greeks. Yeah, for the lies they tell or things they leave out. And when the man had returned in verse 5, Jubilees chapter 71 and verse 5, and when the man had returned home, he thought of repudiating, it's just tongue twister for me, his wife. Repudiating his wife. For it was not right in the house of Jacob for any man to come to his wife after she had been defiled. Even in the law that Moses had put, that was there. If a woman had been defiled, she was actually beaten. Whether it was by rape, but the man would be put to death. Because rape is like taking someone's life. You have destroyed a man's wife or his daughter, forcing yourself on them, and your supremacy because you have a weapon or you have strength over them. Yes, you ought to be put eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. Yes, life for life, finger for finger. And the man that would do such thing, I wouldn't feel sorry for him. I know that the man is such a man to do such things. Many times, if it's here and you can send him something in the prison, because the laws here is that it seems that a certain people can do a certain thing and get away with it, but then another certain people can do the same thing, and what happens? Because they don't want them thinking they have any good privileges here. This is it. The laws are designed to be against you instead of for you. And that depends on how the judge see it. And many judges don't look like you. And those that do look like you, sometimes they're just not for you. Or for the law, period, as it stands. The law is the law regardless. The law is blind, but in many countries the law has an eye open because it sees color. It sees status. You can't trust the law just like you can't trust a lot of things, because those who handle the law handle it many times, not all, don't get me wrong, not all. Those who handle the law handle it with impunity. Bias, bigotry, respect of men, persons, which thing God hate. He repudiated his wife, for it was not right in the house of Jacob for any man to come to you. He didn't want to lay with her because she was defiled by an Egyptian. To him, that was an abomination. I mean, she was no more. And when the woman went and told her brother the woman's brother sought to slay him and fled to his house and escaped. And on the second day Moses went forth to his brethren and saw, and behold, two men were quarreling. And he said to the wicked one, why dost thou smite thy neighbor? This is one of her brothers. And he answered him and said, who has set thee, O prince, over and judge over us? Dost thou think to slay me as thou didst slay the Egyptian? So the woman told. She knew what was the way of the children of Jacob. She knew it. Moses was afraid, and he said, surely this thing is known. So she got her vengeance. I got a big one now. Because he don't want to lay with me. See, back then, for a wife, she belonged to that man. See, woman and man, we got it. Our minds have been, especially here in the Western thought pattern, our minds have been totally, in those of you even on the continent. Now, one thing I can say about the Islamic faith, that those women are taught, and men are taught right, that you belong to each other. It's not that the woman belongs to the man or the man belongs to the woman. It's you belong to each other is what they're taught. When a man marries a woman, he belongs, or he marries a few, he belongs to those women. He cannot just go out and do what he wants. And the same thing, a woman, she belongs to that man, and she knows it. That's her family. And for you, you have to respect it. You got it all wrong. Marriage is all wrong. Relationship is all wrong. You have got the mindset of devils who would try to take the institution of marriage and its whole essence and pervert it to the point where I don't belong to him. Yes, you do. Well, she ain't my mama. Yes, she is. She is your wife. And she potentially or is the woman of your children. She has a say. You just don't perk up like a big bowl of spaghetti boiling over. She has a say. Although respectfully, she has a say. It is up to you to wisely weigh what she says. Or they say. Even as Laban, when he spoke to it, not Laban, but the wives of Lamech in the book of Enoch, when he slain a man. That's why it's so good to understand the scripture. That's scripture. The Greeks throw all that stuff out. The Greeks, they just got your minds all messed up in all this New Testament and even in their old part where they're translated. It's all screwed up. You got to go and filter through all that stuff. But there is a thing they couldn't do. That was the law. Come on here. But either way, let's continue. And he says, Dost thou think to slay me as thou didst slay the Egyptian? And Moses was afraid, and he said, surely the thing is known. And Pharaoh heard of this affair, and he ordered Moses to be slain. So God sent his angel, and he appeared unto Pharaoh in the likeness of the captain of the guard. Woo. Be careful, because many of you will have come across angels. You've treated them like trash. You might have been white and treated that black angel messed up. And you want to know why the things happened to you the way it did. And you might have been a black person all wrapped up in your ways because you were so pretty, or you have the nice rags on, and you treated this angel like dung, and you wonder what happened. Huh? Ooh, my God, my God. What did the angel do? He put himself in the likeness of the captain of the guard. And the angel of the I Am, verse 10, took the sword from the hand of the captain of the guard and took his head off with it. For the likeness of the captain of the guard turned into the likeness of Moses. See, I have often said, if you followed me for any length of time, shapeshifters. Angels, or these spirits, the spirits of the Most High, are shapeshifters. Even those fallen ones are shapeshifters, just as the watchers, they're shapeshifters. They can shift their shape, and also they can be touched. This is the way God had made them. They can do these things. This is what you would call magic, sorcery. But it's not so. God deals with them so that they might will deal with you in the realm of men. And the angel of the I Am took hold of the right hand of Moses and brought him forth. Let me go back again. He turned into the likeness of Moses, and the angel of the Most High took hold of the right hand of Moses and brought him forth from Egypt, just as the angel saved him. Saved him from Balaam's decree or his influence upon Pharaoh to say, let's get rid of this boy. Look at him. He has sense enough to take the crown from your head and put it on his head. But the angel saved him by what? He was a baby. Maybe it was so. But the fact is that he was a baby. And so the angel caused the cold to feel cold in his hand. But then he tried to put it in his mouth and it became hot. And it messed up his mouth and gave him a speech impediment. And plus he had to be somewhat deformed because heat is hot. It will cause you to put it in your mouth, your tongue, and your lip. There's damage there. And he was a man that couldn't speak the words clearly, but people understood what he said. He was able to do that much. And Pharaoh heard of this affair, and he ordered Moses to be slain. So God sent his angel, and he appeared unto Pharaoh in the likeness of the captain of the guard. And the angel of the I Am took the sword from the hand of the captain of the guard and took his head off with it. Did you know spirits can kill you? If God allow it, even an angel can kill you, can demise you, can delete you. A demon can do so if God allow it too. Cause diseases and all kind of mishaps to the human body. These beings have part of God on them, just like you. Every man is given life, however minute, from the Spirit of the Most High. According to the scriptures, he cut his head off with his own sword, for the likeness of the captain of the guard was turned into the likeness of Moses. And he took Moses out, verse 11, and placed him from without. We're in verse 11, and placed him from without the borders of Egypt, a distance of 40 days' journey. In other words, I could be here in the United States. If an angel wanted me to go to another place thousands of miles away, or if God wanted me to go and he told an angel, take him to this place in his flesh, don't you know I could be there within really a flash? This is the power of the Most High. He knows how to do this without the flesh and blood cannot do it by man's knowledge. By man's knowledge, flesh and blood cannot dematerialize and materialize. But God has a way of protecting. If he can protect, not if, God protected them in the fire. Cannot God protect you from the speed of light, which will tear you apart? Whew. Powerful is the Most High. Powerful. He took him a distance of 40 days' journey. That was a long ways. And Aaron, his brother, alone remained in the land of Egypt. See, Aaron was one he was whole. He was the firstborn. Yes, he was the firstborn, and he was chosen. His seed was chosen to be that of the high priest line. before the Most High. And there are those of Aaron still alive today, but you and I would not know it. God's not going to tell you nothing, because some of you, even those of you that call yourself of the people that was placed in the land in 1948, you would try to seek this man out and kill him, or these people out and kill them. God has preserved many that you don't know about, and you don't know where they are. You can go to the Igbo, you can go to this place. You're not going to find them. And Aaron, his brother, alone remained in the land of Egypt, and he prophesied to the children of Israel, saying, Thus says the I am, God of your ancestors, throw away each man the abomination of his eyes, and do not defile yourself with the idols of Egypt. In other words, many have turned to the religion, just like you here in the United States. You've turned to Christianity, just like I have at one time. I've turned to the idols of Christianity, the crosses and the statues and the gargoyles and all these other things, and then calling this man Jesus God, and began to idolize people, and all these things have come about. And now he says, throw it away. And even in your book, New Testament says, come out from among them. Be separate. Because your redemption draweth nigh. Cleave to the law of the Most High, for in it is life. And that life that's in the law is the light of men. It's not in a human being. No. He brought you something that would help you to understand in that day and time. And thus, the I am God of your ancestors, he says, throw away each man his abomination. Defile not yourself with idols, the idols of Egypt. Defile yourself not with the idols of Christianity, with the idols of Islam, with the idols of all these around you. Come out from among them. Be not double-minded, but cleave to the Most High, even your God, with all your heart, mind, and soul, and even loving your neighbor as yourself. This is written in the law, period. This is to sum it all up. For the law is the measure of love. I mean, love, it really is not definable because it's a Greek word. But they say it means I give. God gave you the law that you might give him back your adherence and faithfulness and obedience. He doesn't ask much. No, he doesn't. He doesn't ask much at all. Okay. And the children of Israel, verse 14, and the children of Israel rebelled and would not hearken to Aaron at that time. In other words, just like you now today, you will not hearken to those who cry out in the streets, return back to those things of the old landmark which God had given you through the prophet Moses, for this Jesus cannot save you. He is not God. God is not one who would lay with his own creation, or even cause his angels or spirits that you say to lay with his own creation, when he even told the watchers not to lay with his creation. And they created abominations. You say baptism? No. For John the Baptist was wrapped in camel's hair, an abomination to the Most High. He was unclean. He was wrapped in the skin of a dead, unclean beast. Come on here. So that was null and void. The law. Learn it. Stop being so lazy, Christian. Or those of you who say you were following the law, stop being lazy. Study this thing. It'll be well with you if you do. And if you have to go to hell, at least you won't go to hell not saying I didn't know. It's written right there. You was the one lazy. You didn't want to get in there. All you wanted to do was look the part. Many of you, if your parents didn't get you circumcised and it wasn't on the 8th day, you wouldn't even get circumcised today. Close that door. Sewing machine. The machine is on. But either way, they would not come out. Look how hard-headed some of you are. But you bring perversion among your congregations in the name of God through your idol, Isis. Making something that is not right. And the I Am thought to destroy them, and were it not that the I Am remembered the covenant which he made with Abram, Isaac, and Jacob. Here they're rebellious even before he even brought them out of Egypt. Look at you, rebellious. God hadn't even delivered you from this earth and from your enemies that have caused all kind of havoc, not only in the United States, but throughout all the world. You can't come out from among them. You're stuck. Demons got your mind and you can't get loose. Even the psalmist in 119:9, how shall a young man cleanse his way? Thy word have I hid in my heart, that I might not sin against thee. And you have to know his word. What did come out the mouth of God? What came from the mind of God? Not even the law. And he give you an historical account of the things that occurred during that time, that you might not walk the same way. In verse 15, and the I Am thought to destroy them, though were it not that the I Am remembered the covenant which he had made with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, even Jacob. And in those days the hand of the Pharaoh continued to be severe against the children of Israel. Why? Rebellion. And last but not least, he crushed and oppressed them until the time when God sent forth his word and took notice of them. You know, gosh, I got to put him on them again. And this is going to happen again because of your hard-headed and stiff-neckedness. Africa, United States, Australia, EU, all of you that have called your name by the name of the Most High, and you will not follow the law. You will follow Isis. You will follow Muhammad. You will follow these things and all the derivatives and all the denominations that they brought about. You'll follow the Buddhism and all these things that you think you have a handle on spirituality, and don't know spirits were sent to draw you away. Spirits were allowed to see if you would stand and believe those things which you read. So God will still send you through. You're still in that area of oppression. May not be like it was, but believe me, there's a time in Daniel. It's going to cause a great deliverance, like a mother that's painting to birth her child. Child don't want to come out. Some of you women know. I don't know what I'm talking about, but I know you women know what I'm talking about. I've seen my mama. She wasn't in no hospital. She delivered my baby sister in the house. There was nobody there. Maybe some of the women came and helped her, but the baby was born by the time the ambulance came, so she didn't even go to the hospital. Everything was just taken care of right there. We cleaned up the sheets, the blood, and all that stuff. We were kids. But the fact is that painting, you hear the wail of a woman when that child has come. Now, some women doesn't give that pain. I was when my middle boy was born. This woman, she didn't have pain. She had the baby, and she was out of the hospital the same day. Didn't even tear her. Didn't do nothing. I mean, it was talked about all over the naval hospital what had happened. But the fact is, God wants you to come out. And there's a time going to come where he's going to birth even the true sons. He says you're going to be just as the angels. Not lower than them, but as the angels. You're going to be given a new body. You're going to be given all things new. You're going to be given a new mind, a new air. That's why it's so important that you get into these things today, to learn how to worship God, to learn how to praise God, to learn how to lift him up, to learn how to do those things that are not popular, to be rejected of your family, friends, and even your own masjid or even your church. For the glorious thing that have come before these prophets, they say, have brought you a new thing. Because if you notice, when God brought the law, he brought it through men. He didn't bring it through no angels. He gave it to men first. And it was wrote on a scroll. And you have to know, not just one scroll, but it was wrote on many scrolls through different processes of time. Don't let them fool you. But the law was written before the flood. The law was written. It came from the mouth of the Most High before the flood. He gave it even to Enoch, Methuselah. Adam even knew what was going on. But today, oh, it's the New Testament. Oh, we got our pretty Jesus with that little blood drop on his mouth and that little sticky cross. And we got Muhammad who had the bird drop the rocks down on the ground and all that. That was a big miracle back. Come on here. God is more powerful than that. Yeah, you can speak in your Arabic. Oh, I don't care. No. But the fact is, God wants you to come out of him and be separate according to his law. Get together. Get sacrifice unto the Most High. Sacrifice. Because Jesus couldn't come here. He had to sacrifice something. His father and his mother and father had to sacrifice some type of animal or something. He had to practice the law. A thanksgiving offering. If it's not sin, just thankfulness. He had to offer it. They didn't put that in there. They done just messed you up. They left things out just to show you, oh, don't do that no more. Now, here he is, all these Caucasian people and killed this black man, and now we are the gods now. Send out the Kraken. But anyway, with all that, we're going to say peace, shalom. Yes, and may your day be sweet.
Walk with me.